the premier EFB, electronic flight bag out there. We're going to be talking to ForeFlight.
In the hangar.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of In the Hangar. We're shooting here at Airventure at the Flying Eyes booth. I'm Dan Milliken.
And I'm Christy Wong on location.
And we are sponsored by Flying Eyes, who makes us possible to bring this to you. And if you go to flyingeyesoptics.com and use our discount code, taking off all caps, one word, you can get really good, cool glasses and sunglasses. And also by Clemens Insurance, ClemensInsurance.net. Jerry there saved me 4 figures on my airplane's insurance.
But we're here to talk about somebody else that's actually, in my book, pretty cool.
Yeah, so we all use ForeFlight. There's
Most of us do.
Who doesn't use ForeFlight? I think that's more the question. ForeFlight is the go-to EFB, electronic flight bag, that is out there. So Ryan, thank you for joining us today.
Of course, great to see you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. We started chatting right before we started filming. I've been using ForeFlight since I was a student pilot, so over 6 years now is when I first started using you guys. And I've seen the iterations over the years kind of and the improvements and whatnot.
And I took my private 8 years ago, and I did not use ForeFlight during my private pilot trip because we didn't use anything.
Sure.
And now my instructor was using something, and I did find out later that's ForeFlight, and he was using it back then.
Yeah.
So Ryan, take us through the history of ForeFlight, because you guys, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so ForeFlight was founded in 2007 by 2 gentlemen, Tyson Wise and Jason Miller. Tyson and Jason were both software engineers. They came from a software background, but they were also private pilots. They were flying for fun on the weekends, etc. And they actually met online through some aviation discussion forums, and they got to talking about how technology could better serve pilots' needs.
Right.
I agree with this.
And 2007 was a special year because that's the year that the Apple iPhone was first introduced.
Oh, yeah.
And so the iPhone came out, and Tyson and Jason immediately saw that opportunity. And so they got together, they started building a product. The first version was very simple. You could enter an airport code, and the application would spit out a METAR. And we've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, I think, 2010 when the iPad came out that the potential really started to blossom. I mean, the potential that the iPad form factor has for totally changing the pilot's workflow and being a lot more useful in flight completely revolutionized everything we do, and I think how GA pilots fly today.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that.
Well, you keep adding features all the time. I've now been a ForeFlight subscriber 7 years. So almost all my pilot life, I've been doing. You guys, every release is something new. What else could you possibly create? That would be new and better?
Well, the thing is, the software's never done, right? There are always things to do. We get ideas from customers all the time on things we could be doing that we're not, or things that we're doing that we should be doing better, or ways to improve it. One thing we really pride ourselves on is our pace of development. There's basically one ForeFlight release with new features every month. And so you can basically count on every month going to ForeFlight.com, signing up for our newsletter, and seeing what all the new stuff is. There's a lot of new stuff that we've released recently. We've been focused on, I would say, 2 primary areas. One of them is proactive features. So giving pilots information and heads up on things going on during their flight right before they realize they need that heads up. So for example, we've recently released a couple new alerting features. ForeFlight can do a ton of different alerts, and there's 2 new ones in the application. It can tell you when you're coming up on controlled airspace and automatically alert you that there's controlled airspace ahead. And one that I think is really cool is when you're on final to a runway, if you have ADS-B traffic connected to ForeFlight and an aircraft enters that runway as you're on final, ForeFlight will alert you to that as well.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so we're always working on new stuff.
What other features are coming out with ForeFlight?
Yeah, so one thing we're really excited to talk about this week at the show is we are announcing an Apple Watch application.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I have an Apple Watch.
Yeah, I have an Apple Watch.
Right on. So I think, for folks who have the Apple Watch, they realize the value of having that watch with them, the notifications they get, the information they can see at a glance, and I think that's definitely true for aviation information.
Yes.
So the new ForeFlight Apple Watch app connects to ForeFlight Mobile on your iPhone, and you can get all of your airport information, weather information directly on your watch. You can search for airports, you can pull up the daily weather forecast, which has been in the application for a while
cool.
now. Allows you to see the forecast multiple days out, and you can browse all of that on your wrist. So Apple Watch is super exciting. It's something we've been working on for a while. And like all things we do at ForeFlight, it will get better over time, right? We have big plans for it over the long term.
Do I need to do anything special on my Apple Watch to make it integrate?
So all you need to do is make sure you update ForeFlight Mobile to the latest version.
Okay.
And that will include the Apple Watch application, and it will load it onto your Apple Watch for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
that's
I can't
easy.
wait. I'm going to try that out.
Right on. A couple of other new things we're working on. I was talking about context. So we just released ADS-B breadcrumbs, and so when you tap on a traffic target, you can see where that traffic's been, right? So instead of just seeing where they are,
cool.
Not just our plane, but others.
see what they've been doing. Are they in the pattern? Are they hovering over an area? Are they cruising? Whatever. And I think that can provide pilots a lot more context, especially as they're coming into the airport environment,
Yes.
right? See what other aircraft are doing. And then customization. We heard for a long time that customers wanted to change how their aircraft looked in the application. You've always been able to change the symbol of the aircraft, but you can now customize the color for folks who prefer it not to be blue. They can now have it in a variety of different colors.
Yeah, but you
Interesting.
like blue.
I do like blue.
Me
So,
too. It's my
yeah,
favorite.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're really excited about the new stuff.
All right, so that covers the latest features. Let me ask you kind of a trick question. There is so much in there, and I know I'm not using it. What would be some of the best features that pilots don't use?
Like an underrated feature of ForeFlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you ask everyone at ForeFlight that question, you get a lot of really good answers. I'll give
Right.
you mine.
Okay.
One of my favorite features in the product is called Procedure Advisor. And it's located in the flight plan drawer. So when you tap the
Right.
FPL button and you enter your flight in there,
Yes.
in the top right-hand corner of that menu is a procedure button.
Right.
Procedure Advisor was designed by us to enable any customer to visualize any VFR or IFR procedure into or out of any airport in the world. It's really cool. You tap on procedure and ForeFlight will tell you, based on your departure or your destination, what procedure would you like to fly? An IFR procedure, like a departure, an arrival, or an approach, or a VFR procedure, like a traffic pattern entry. You can select what you want. ForeFlight will draw it out on the map for you. And if it's an IFR procedure, like an approach, it'll put all of your altitude restrictions for the approach directly on the map, as well as the approach plate itself in just like 2 taps. And so it's a really quick way to visualize what you're about to do and get context of what you're doing in the context of the overall map. So it's one of my favorite features.
Yeah.
I do use that one.
I was going to say, I do too. I love that.
Awesome.
What's the biggest growth area for ForeFlight?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've been around since 2007. We're very fortunate. We have an incredibly passionate customer base that loves to use
Yes,
our
you do.
product. We're definitely the market leader in the EFB space in the U.S. And we're going to continue serving our U.S. customers extremely well. Lots of new features on the roadmap. In terms of growth, what's on the horizon? We recently expanded to a couple different geographic regions. So we launched European support for European countries a few years ago. We also, of course, have supported our Canadian customers for a long time. We just launched about a month or 2 ago support for Australia and New Zealand.
Nice.
We have an Australian fan who reached out to us to tell us how excited they were that you guys were now in Australia.
We're super excited. We've been down to Australia and New Zealand many times, talking to pilots, learning about what's important to them, and incorporating that feedback into the product. So we're excited to be there.
For those pilots that don't use ForeFlight, like the 3 that are out there, maybe, what would you say to them as far as what they're missing out on?
That's a great question. I think ForeFlight differentiates itself as a product and as a company in terms of the passion we put into the product and in terms of the people we have on our team building that product. The company was founded by pilots. We employ a ton of pilots, myself included. And
Nice.
so we're designing features not just for our incredible customer base, but for ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing we do. We're an EFB company, and EFB stuff is our passion. And so it's exactly what we want to be doing, and it's really the only thing we focus on. It's 100% of our attention. We really pride ourselves on the user experience of the product.
And because you guys are pilots, you can actually give your own feedback and input. And
All day, every day. All day, every day. Our team is testing new ideas, flying with the application, testing things in the simulator, all the time.
And for that person not subscribed, what are they looking at with pricing plans?
Sure, that's a great question. So ForeFlight has 3 subscription levels, and each of the subscription levels has different features because lots of different pilots value different things. Our basic level subscription is called our Basic Plus. That's $120 US a year. That includes all of your, it's an annual subscription. It includes all of your VFR and IFR charts, procedures, a ton of weather functionality, the ability to file flight plans, get briefings, record your flights, etc. That's $120 a year. We have our Pro Plus subscription, which adds some situational awareness features, things like synthetic vision, a 3D view of what's outside, which projects terrain, obstacles, traffic, as well as a profile view that allows you to visualize airspace and terrain along your route or ahead of your aircraft, as well as a top-down awareness feature we call Hazard Advisor, which color codes all the terrain and obstacles around you based on your GPS altitude. And then we have our, that's $240 a year. And then we have our Performance Plus subscription, which is $360 a year. The biggest feature in Performance Plus is aircraft performance data. So we've worked directly with all the major aircraft manufacturers to take all the performance data from the POHs for those aircraft, which is actually in a digital format, a huge file. There's a lot of data that goes into those performance calculations, and incorporate it directly into the application. So a pilot can simply type in their tail number and their type, and ForeFlight will use that data to give them super accurate performance calculations when they fly.
Wow, okay, I did not know that. I think I'm on the middle one.
Yeah, me too.
The Pro Plus subscription, yeah, that's definitely one of the most popular levels.
But as a professional pilot, you know, I don't get to use ForeFlight in the flight deck of my airliner.
Sure.
We use another application that's provided to us by the company, but when I do all my GA flying, it's ForeFlight.
It's gotta be ForeFlight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why somebody who's not subscribed to ForeFlight isn't yet. I've started teaching a little bit because I'm CFII, but more for the fun of it. But I'm teaching some friends. Is there a student level?
There's not a student level subscription, but we are really focused right now on flight training. So for example, ForeFlight has an integrated logbook built in that can track your flights for you automatically and log them automatically. We also recently acquired Cloud Ahoy. So Cloud Ahoy is an incredible debriefing tool for post-flight analysis. And
I have not used that. What's that?
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, so Cloud Ahoy is an incredible product that allows you to automatically log all the metrics from your flight and replay that flight, and it'll score your flight for you. It can automatically detect IFR procedures, VFR procedures like traffic patterns, etc., and give you a score and tell you the things that you need to work on or the things you're doing really well at.
I used it a little bit during my instrument training. It was very interesting because it kind of gave me a profile view of the approaches that I was practicing.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is some of my other avionics, other companies that are making stuff, you guys seem to play really nice with the other people. It communicates with the Garmin, it communicates with the Aspen, talk to me about how you guys play so nice.
Yeah, exactly. So ForeFlight has a program, it's called the ForeFlight Connect program, and the idea is we work with all the different aircraft avionics manufacturers to make sure that ForeFlight can integrate to a really high level with lots of different types of devices. And so we do have an agreement with Garmin, for example, that you can connect to a variety of Garmin devices from the GDL 50, 51, 52 to the GTX 345 transponder and pipe that information directly into ForeFlight, which is really handy. We work with other manufacturers as well, Dynon, Avidyne, and we support a wide variety of portable devices as well.
Like Sentry, Stratus,
Exactly, yeah. Sentry, which is our device we've made in partnership with Avionics. We support the Stratus device as well, yeah.
What's the future look like?
I think the future is very bright. You know, I think it would be hard to imagine back in 2007 when Tyson and Jason founded the company, all the capability that would be in the product right now. I feel that way right now. I feel like we're on the precipice, and I know we are internally, on another technical revolution in the space. And so I can't speak to things we're working on that we haven't released yet, but I can tell you that there's some very, very exciting new things coming soon.
Well, I, for one, am really excited to see what's coming next.
Cool.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so great to have you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for being a part of my journey, his journey, and so many others' journeys. I mean, ForeFlight has been integral in our pilot lives.
I don't know how I could fly without that iPad with ForeFlight on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing it. Thank you so much.
All right, Ryan, thank you. And thank you guys for watching. And don't forget our sponsors. By supporting them, it helps support us be able to bring content like this to you. Sponsors like 67 Designs, they make the best camera mounts and iPads and iPhone mounts. I put my ForeFlight on 67 Design mounts in the cockpit. They're amazing. 67D.com. Also, Marshall Protective Service, personal protection elevated. Colton Mortgage for your residential need. Colton, takingoff.com, and Z-Vision, the brightest landing and taxi lights out there.
All right, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share our content. We'll see y'all next time.
In the hangar.